Today I'm talking about tips if you are a highly sensitive person. Now, if you haven't seen the video that I posted before this one, it's about are you actually a highly sensitive person and what it means to be a highly sensitive person. So I'd recommend you watching that video before this video because I really go into how that shows up, why that potentially shows up, whether it's potentially a positive or negative thing being a highly sensitive person. And now this video is like a part 2. If you are highly sensitive, then what can you do to increase your container, as I spoke about in the past video, as well as just maintain, get through the day if you are extremely sensitive. So I'm going to be going through some practical tips and then some more in-depth solutions or ways to go about it. So firstly, the practical things that we can do if we are highly sensitive. One thing we can do is wear earplugs. So often noise is very, very invasive. And if you can't have silence in an environment, it's like your boundary is being energetically penetrated by sound because it just goes straight through. So this, if you can carry around earplugs and if you can get good quality earplugs, like if you are really sensitive, then I recommend, paying $50, $60, $70 for like a custom made pair of earplugs that just really zone everything out. This will settle your nervous system down so much and will be really, really healing for you. It will take you out of fight or flight quite quickly often and put you into the parasympathetic nervous system. So earplugs is a big one. Exercise is going to be good. Why is exercise good? It's because it expands your energy field. And there is a Balinese dog, and he's actually he's coming down here. Interesting timing that when I'm talking about earplugs and reducing the sound, that a Balinese dog really just penetrates me deeply with its sound and its bark when I'm trying to make a video. So, it's interesting timing. Always lessons for myself coming up. So it's beautiful how life continually gives us these lessons. So back to the exercise. When we exercise, we actually extend our emotional body. We extend our energetic body. And if we exercise a lot, building muscle, we extend our physical body. But what it does is it really pushes our energy out. So it buffers our environment. Whereas if we're very small and we shut down, we can be more sensitive, more affected by our environment. But if we're out there in the gym or we're being physical and we're breathing, we're building our own internal power, which is then pushing out to our environment, which is extending. And this is really good for highly sensitive people because if you are sensitive, that can be a beautiful thing, as I spoke about in the first video, but we don't want to be getting so affected by it that it becomes crippling. So if we can be sensitive, but also be exercising and having the energy come in, but also pushing out, this is going to be much, much more healing. The next thing I want to talk about is decluttering your space. So decluttering is going to allow your system, your body, your mind just to relax. Because if you are very sensitive, you're often very aware of what's going on in the external environment. And if it's very messy in your house or in your home or in your workspace, you're going to be more sensitive to that. You're going to get distracted more easily. You're going to feel uncomfortable, overwhelmed more easily. So making sure that you declutter your space, picking up each object in your space and saying, does this spark joy? Does this really make me feel good? If it doesn't, it's not for you. If it does, leave it there and have things that really make you feel good in your environment. And then another practical thing that I want to draw your attention to is grounding or earthing. So physically having your feet on the ground, physically touching a tree, hugging a tree, grounding your energy, feeling that earthiness, feeling your power, feeling that groundedness within your spirit. Connecting back to the earth is very, very, very healing for a sensitive person because being sensitive, you can get very much in your head. about what other people are thinking, are very much in your feelings. It can be a whirlwind. So then just grounding down, going for a walk in nature, moving your body, it's a must every single day if you are extremely sensitive. Now, if you're watching this, you may or may know about the human design system, but one thing I want to draw your attention to is if you do know your human design chart and you have a lot of centers that are undefined, then this means that you're actually more sensitive to your environment. So you're more open and your environment can affect you more intensely. So if you do have, 5 or 6 or more open centers out of 9 within your human design chart, then you'll probably be naturally more sensitive than other people. Now, I want to bring your attention to emotions. So yes, you can be sensitive to your external environment, like noises, smells, fabrics, whatever it is, but they're actually the instigator. They're the catalyst for some sensation or emotion to rise up in your body, and that is actually what you are reacting to, and that is what you're really sensitive to. So it's having the capacity to hold that certain of emotion with acceptance. It's when that emotion comes up and you judge it, that's when the sensitivity becomes to work against you. If something's triggering you, like a crowd of people, a big social situation, and then you're feeling this energy and emotion rush through you and sensation, and if it's too overwhelming, you don't have the capacity to be with that emotion and allow it to be as it is without judgment, then it's going to flick you out of your functional range and you're going to go into fight or flight, and it's not going to be beneficial, your sensitivity. But if you can hold that sensitivity, feel all the people in the room, feel the emotion, feel your aliveness, and in that still hold that within the container of your awareness with acceptance, well then your sensitivity is going to be a beautiful, blissful experience for you. And, it's really good to be sensitive. It's just, do we have the capacity within ourselves to be that sensitive? So, yes, that's why when people get anxiety, for example, or they get some emotion come up, nervousness, that's a sensitivity. They're sensitive to something external to them often, or something coming up within them, and most people don't want to feel that, so they suppress it. And then it keeps building, so then people take anti-anxiety, antidepressant pills, because they don't have the capacity to meet that energy as it is. And that's where the juice happens. If you can meet your anxiety with acceptance, with beauty, with interest and curiosity, then the magic can really unfold, because you're accepting life as it is, and the sensitivity will keep increasing and your awareness will keep increasing, and then you become more and more alive rather than dulling yourself down, which is what most people are doing. So we want to become alive human beings. So that's something that I wanted to talk about, like emotional integration, allowing things to show up and meeting it with acceptance. Another thing is co-regulation. So what is co-regulation? Co-regulation is what children, or what babies, how their nervous systems regulate, is actually skin-on-skin contact with mainly the mother. Can be the father, can be anyone, but most likely it's the mother. And when the skin-on-skin happens, it's nervous system regulating with the mother's nervous system. It's learning through feeling, through energy, through co-regulation. It's co-regulating with the mother. That's why if you've got a baby, or you're thinking about having the baby, the work you do now is going to impact that baby forever. The vibration that you currently carry within your nervous system, the unresolved traumas that you still hold on from your childhood, from your past, you're just going to pass on to the children. And you do it unconsciously. Through co-regulation is one way. Because the baby's just learned through the functioning of your nervous system. And it's so amazing how the human body works. So as an adult, if you're highly sensitive, getting co-regulation is an amazing thing with anyone, with any human being. So I'm talking about non-sexual co-regulation, so skin on skin. This is, watching a movie with a friend and just having your arm touching, or hugging, or of course if you've got a partner, it's going to be a lot easier because you can be more physically in contact with them, just in a cuddle or a back tickle or a scratch. These are so healing for highly sensitive people, to have that skin on skin contact, to regulate the nervous system into its functional range and repattern it. It's very, very healing. Another tip for highly sensitive people is often the sensitivity comes, or it's highly sensitive when you go out of your functional range. So there's too much and you're stimulated too much. So for example, you're at work and you've got a job to do, and then another person comes and it's like, whoa, I'm just too sensitive. You're feeling this person's emotion, and this person's angry because you haven't done it in the exact time, and it's all happening. It's just overwhelm. Now your pattern, and you learn this pattern through co-regulation from your mother most likely. So you see how this sort of all links. But you learn this pattern as a child, and often when we feel pressure, we want to relieve the pressure, and we think that if we do more action or stay in our pattern and just work harder or faster or think more, we're going to relieve the pressure. It's the exact opposite. What we want to do is break this pattern. We want to break this pattern of overwhelm by taking a pause. So things are building, feeling the tension in the shoulders. The breath gets a little shorter. The breath gets maybe a little bit of pain in the kidneys from fear. Everything starts to contract a little bit. Maybe a dry mouth, maybe sweaty hands, whatever it is. You're feeling the fight or flight build. Sensitivity, it's just going into overwhelm. You're just like, geez, I don't know. And then, boom, have the awareness to come in and be like, oh, I can break this pattern. I'm going to pause. Enough's enough. And you literally lie down for 5 minutes and pause and just let it go. Literally just stop and breathe. And after 5 minutes, get up, see how your emotional state is. You will have changed it very quickly. And if the pattern's still too strong and it's overwhelm, stop again, pause, break the pattern. This is a survival technique that was most likely learnt as a child. So break the pattern. The next thing is create safe spaces for yourself. Have certain friends that you can be yourself with, where you can express maybe some secrets or some things that you don't want to share with other people, or that feel uncomfortable to share. Maybe some things that you're not happy about within yourself. Maybe some things about your looks or the things that you're uncomfortable with. Having a space that just you can relax and share with another. So finding friends, finding a partner who has the capacity to accept you as you are. And the best thing you can do is accept yourself first, and then you'll attract that situation into your life. That's preferable. But yeah, creating safe spaces. And finally, very briefly, I'm not going to go into it much, but it's boundaries. So if you're sensitive, often what is sparking that is from your outside environment. So boundaries. Boundaries is where you define yourself to end, and then your external environment starts. It's that boundary between you and the outside world. It's made up of your beliefs, your yes, your no, your opinions, your past experiences, your emotions. And to know your boundary, you need to know your emotions. You need to be connected to your emotions. And once you're connected to your emotions, they're indicators for how you're feeling, if your boundary is being violated a little bit. And then if it is, it's like, okay, what do I need? Do I need space? Do I need to share my truth? Do I need to remove myself? Do I need to get a glass of water? Do I need to go to the toilet? Do I need to ground? What are your needs? And then you're actually asserting your boundary. This is what I need. A boundary is, what do you need? And having the ability to say, boom, that's what I need. You're over there, I'm here, this is what I need. I know you want that from me right now. I don't have the capacity to do that. This is my boundary. I can do that by this time, or whatever it is. I'm just giving you an example of boundaries. Yes. So they are some tips, quite a lot of tips for highly sensitive people. So if you are a highly sensitive person, if you do get overwhelmed, if you do get rocked by your external environment, or your internal environment, then watch this video back a couple of times. If you actually implement it and take the time to nourish and self-care and put yourself first on occasions, then you'll actually grow your ability to be with your sensitivity, and life will start to just unfold much more organically and beautifully in front of you. So yeah, really, really cheering you on and willing you on to trust life and trust yourself and trust your own boundaries and do what you need to do and put structures in place that are really going to nourish you throughout the day. And if you want to journey deeper, reach out to me, email me, info@charliemcginnis.com, and I can support you one-on-one throughout the process as well. So until next time, all the best, all the way from Bali, Indonesia. Bring it to his feet. Move mountains.